Hello! My videos about real estate seem to be more popular than those where I reveal scam techniques and say about scam. Amazing, huh? I knew there were several men who do not need any advice, any consultation, who know absolutely everything, but I just didn't know there were so many of those men. Video about houses in Kiev, where I show you houses from $100,000 to about $300,000, seems to be one of the most popular on my channel. And after that video I received questions like, how do most people in Ukraine live? Especially people who live in villages, where they earn about $200 per month. In video about residence permit through investment that you can watch right here, I showed you a house in the most prestigious area of Odessa. I asked you to guess how much was that house, and only one man guessed and proposed that house was about $2.5 million. Watch that video if you haven't already done so, but the house was sold for $9.5 million, and starting price was $10 million. And you would say, what a stupid people. How could they buy a house in Odessa for $10 million? They could have bought a house in Miami, in Canary Islands, in Hawaii, or maybe in Mallorca for much less than $10 million. And it would be maybe the same house. And maybe from your point of view it is correct. But I would say that that investment, the person who bought that house, that investment was just perfect. Think and write me in comments after watching that video, why do you think it was a perfect investment? Or why do you think it was such bad investment? And in one of my next video I will tell you the answer, why it was the most profitable deal that that man could find. How do less fortunate people in Ukraine live? In which apartments or in which houses do they live? How can they afford those houses and how much do they cost? Today I will show you a house that is for sale in Odessa region. It is 200 kilometers away from Odessa and in about 3 to 3.5 hours driving distance from Odessa. The village where house is sold is located right next to Vilkovo, and Vilkovo is called Ukrainian Venice. You can Google for Vilkovo and see how nice and actually it is touristic place, especially in the summer. Vilkovo is about half an hour drive from that village. And another village where there are several hotels and sanatoriums, which is right next to the Black Sea, is called Primorskoye. Primorskoye is only 13 minutes drive from that village. Over 2,000 people live in that Desantnaya village where that house is sold, and it means that there is a possibility to connect it to a cable internet. 2 mobile operators have 4G connection, and the third mobile operator promises to have 4G connection next year in that village as well. There is a school in that village, a kindergarten, a supermarket, a small hospital, several shops where you can buy building materials, and even a vet clinic in that village. But the best part is that house which is for sale is 120 square meters. There is a kitchen, a separate building for the kitchen, which is 50 square meters, and the big land plot of 4,700 square meters, which is about 50,000 square feet. How much do you think such house costs? Let's see the review of this house, and after that I will tell you the price of this house, together with land, with the garden, and with everything that is on it right now. So let's see the house itself. You can see the facade of the house and little benches. In Ukrainian villages people gather in the evening and chat about many things on such benches. And we are entering the courtyard. Just have a look how clean everything is. We say in Ukraine that people in villages are intelligent people, more intelligent than those who live in the city. Pretty big courtyard here. There is a garage. And I think you can park 2 more cars here. Here is a big walnut tree, so if you want to park car here, better to install some roof. And there are 2 grown fig trees, and you can have your own figs. And here is the main house. As you can see, it is pretty big, 120 square meters. And check out the roof. It is Romanian tiles, which are not very cheap, and the roof has been rebuilt about 10 years ago. So I assume only tiles, these Romanian tiles, cost about $3,000 to $4,000. And when you hire roofers, they would charge maybe about $1,000 to $2,000 for the work. House is built from limestone, and the second wall is from red bricks. So it's like a thermos bottle. Keeps warmth in the winter and keeps cold in the summer. Windows and doors are from oak tree, and windows are double. Have been installed a long time ago, and everything is in good condition, as you can see. And let's enter the house. You can see a small hallway here. Such small veranda is a must for every village house. First room is like a living room here. It is also called sometimes a rest room, where people gather in the evening, watch TV, talk about how they passed and what are the plans for tomorrow. Just watch TV, maybe drink beer, maybe something stronger. As you can see, there is a stove heating here, even though you can connect the house to the gas, to the natural gas source. But since house is built from limestone, I think it is much cheaper for the owner to heat it with coal or with the woods. All floors are made of concrete, so no worries if something falls out from the stove. Second room is like a small office, but has a bed here. And this bed with toys is the so-called gruba. It is a bed and underneath is a stove, so in winter it is very nice to lie here. And gruba is a must for every village house, especially in the past when you could not connect houses to the gas. Next room is a so-called guest room. This room is used when guests or most probably relatives arrive to you and spend most of their time in this room. All inside doors are also made out of oak, and these doors would last maybe for another lifetime. And a big bedroom with 4 windows, even though I would make it like a small office, because I think it would be much more comfortable to work in a room with 4 windows than to sleep in a room with 4 windows. And owner says that in this room, when her children visited them, they just loved to stay in this room and to sleep here. Pretty interesting Romanian paintings right on the ceiling. And you can see that many Romanian tiles, Romanian paintings, Romanian furniture, because Romania is only 20 kilometers away from here. And we're going back to the courtyard through the main entrance. As you can see, lots of grapes here, and owner of the house even makes her own wine right from these grapes. This is a garage and a new building of a summer house that was built only 10 years ago, and it was built from double red bricks, so pretty warm in the winter here as well. As usual in the villages, a small veranda, even in the summer house. Second room is a so-called banya, like a sauna, but the difference that sauna is a dry heat and banya is wet heat. And you can see the boiler in the corner. You would use either coal or wood to heat this place. And the third room is a kitchen itself, used of course for cooking food, and it is also like a dining room here as well. Once again, this building is new, has been built like 10 years ago, has a ventilation. And as we can see here, here is a gas cylinder. But this house can be connected to natural gas. There is such possibility for several years already in this village. And we're going back to the courtyard from this summer kitchen. And here are many storage rooms, places to store stuff. This place is used to store wood or coal that is needed in the winter. And this second structure is a hen house. This huge tree is a mulberry, which is very good for your health and which also is grown here for hens, who like these mulberries very much. Here are 2 big storage rooms right in the house. And a small storage room also for some stuff. now we see the garden with many apple trees, pear trees, apricot trees, cherries, also a little grapeyard from which owner makes her own wine. And as you can see, owner looks after this garden very, very well. In the courtyard there are 2 wells, and as you can see, lots of cats and a dog. You will always see a lot of cats in a village house. Water pump is installed in this well, and then pumps in a small barrel that is under the roof of a kitchen, and from there it distributes right in the kitchen. Here is the second well, and also a small garden with several apple trees. House is sold with all necessary documents for the house and for the land, which is very good because such houses usually have something missing, either documents for the house or documents for the land. And frankly speaking, house is very nice, especially for the offered price. So write me in comments, how much do you think this house costs? I do not know what you think about this house, but if I was considered to retire in a couple of years, and if I would decide to live in a village, I would consider checking out this house. Starting price of everything that you saw, that house that is 120 square meters, a kitchen which is another 50 square meters, that garage, storage rooms, and that huge garden with a land plot of 4,700 square meters, which is 50,000 square feet, is only $5,000. Only $5,000, and I think it can be negotiated down to $4,000. Of course, you would have to spend around $5,000 more for connecting house to gas, installing a gas boiler for heating, and do some maintenance. But even though you spend $10,000 overall on such house, I think it is a very, very good deal if you consider living in the village. If you were to build such house from the scratch by yourself, it would cost you about $70,000 to $80,000. You can say, well, I would build a better house, not like that one, but okay, you would spend about $70,000 and you would have to grow all those trees, and that would be another maybe 20 years. And in such case, for like $10,000, you get everything. I think that for $5,000, without negotiations, you can get everything that you saw straight away. So, including fridge, water pumps, everything that is in the kitchen there, and maybe even those cats that are present in every village. I think there are actually much more of those cats than you saw in the video. You would ask, why is it such a low price? And the answer is because in villages there are almost no opportunities and very little to do, so there is almost no work there. And many people try to run away from villages, run into cities. Such cities as, of course, Kiev, Odessa, Lviv, Dnipro, Zaporozhye, Kharkiv, big cities. Those who cannot find job in those cities, of course, go to smaller cities like Zhytomyr, Rovno, Berdyansk, Melitopol, or in the cities of western Ukraine, in Carpathian region. So, in villages, almost old people remain to live. And when those old people die, their relatives, of course, sell houses for nothing and remain living in big cities, because they can work there and there are some opportunities for them, not like in village. Woman is selling that house where she lived all her life. Her husband died and she is moving to her children to Izmail. She is pretty old, I think 77 or 78 years old, and she doesn't have enough health to look after this garden and after this house. She lived in that house for 45 years, and that house was built by parents of her husband, and her husband lived there all his life. Of course, if husband was alive, she would never have sold that house, and they would happily live there for years and years. Family that lived in that house is not poor at all. They had a garage and I think they had a car as well. They changed the roof to Romanian tiles. And those Romanian tiles are not that cheap actually. People who have no money usually do not install such roofs. They just don't have money for that. Also, there are 2 wells, and it's pretty expensive to dig those wells. It's pretty expensive to install a water pump there and to take care of that. For me, it's actually a little bit sad to look at such house, imagine how people lived there, how they collected money to build that summer kitchen, how they collected money for those Romanian tile, how they maybe hired roofers, or maybe that roof has been rebuilt by her husband all by himself, and it's kind of hard. How they collected money maybe for that fridge, how water pump broke down and they had to collect money for that, how they bought that TV, that Romanian furniture, how they bought and installed that satellite dish, and how they actually deprived themselves to collect money for all those things. And after that, one owner dies and everything is sold for less than 10% of what was invested in that. But it is all philosophy, even though it is very sad philosophy. Family lived all their life there and managed to accumulate only like $5,000. That's it. In less populated villages, those villages that are not next to the sea, it is possible to buy a house for maybe $1,000 or $2,000, together with a land plot. If you are interested, please write me in comments and I'll record a video with a pretty good house for you that can be bought for $1,000 or $2,000. With this video, my main aim was to show you how ordinary, not rich people, like normal people, live in Ukraine, how people in villages live. If it was interesting for you, please write me in comments and I will record another video like that for you. Please check if you are subscribed to my channel, and if you are not, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. As you can see here, only 26% of those people who are subscribed to my channel watch my videos, and 73% are not subscribed to my channel. Please motivate me, subscribe to the channel, so that I can record more videos for you. I sincerely hope you liked this video, and in the meantime, I wish you all success, good luck, joy, and of course, stay healthy and wealthy.